Okay, so today I'm going to do freeze-dried cantaloupe for snacking. I've done it before. It turns out really good. But there was a couple things I wanted to let you know. When you're picking a cantaloupe, this time of year, it's February, early February here. So we can't get farm fresh, extra ripe cantaloupe. You get what's shipped in, you get what you get. But you're looking for this heavy, I don't know, I want to call it veining. It's kind of like a road map. And then you also want to look for a spongy core here, but there's not much sponge to this one because we can't get them extremely ripe. There's going to be a couple soft spots on it. That's no big deal. One bad spot, I'm going to cut that out. But the main thing you're looking for is smell it. If it has no smell, which I encountered yesterday when I picked up this one, then don't get it. This one has a cantaloupe smell. As a matter of fact, when it was in the back of my vehicle on the way home, I could smell cantaloupe the whole way home. So I haven't opened it yet, obviously, but I believe this is going to be a good cantaloupe for this time of year, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and start this puppy out by cutting the ends off of it. There's a bad spot right there. Like I said, though, no big deal. So I want to cut the end. Oh, that smells nice. It smells really nice. So I'd say this is going to be a good one. Let me get a spoon to get that out of there. I know I'm not prepared for my own damn videos, but you know, it happens. So you just want to spoon out the seeds. Okay, I'm going to call that done as far as that goes. There's that soft spot I was telling you about. So I'm just going to continue to cut it and then peel it. I got to cut it into more manageable pieces for the mandolin. So I just keep cutting it in half until I get down to something that's sliceable, which that is. So now I can just work the fruit off of it without removing parts of my hand, hopefully. That is crazy, folks. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me try my smaller knife. So maybe it's not as dangerous. I value my digits. Okay, so at least I got it started, so now I can go the other way. That piece looks good. Well, while I was getting ready there, I was adjusting the camera and everything fell apart. So I had to reset it. So the video is going to look a little different. I'm going to go ahead and slice this at 3 mil for a little bit till I put my hand guard on, which may end up being a mistake on my part, but I think if I'm careful, it'll be all right. So I'm slicing it at a number 3, which I assume is 3 mil on my mandolin, because that slice turns out real nice for freeze drying and for eating. All right, it's down low enough now. I think I'll use this. I don't like trusting my fingers. like to keep them if at all possible. Here, Sophie, here's a piece for you. And a piece for me. That's pretty good stuff. Not as good as summer vine ripe, but it's good. All right, so there's half done. I'm going to do the other half off camera, and then I'll put it in a pan, get it froze, ready for the freeze dryer. Just for an idea, there's a whole cantaloupe in this tray. And I'm not going to put it all on trays for the freeze dryer just yet, but I'll go ahead and do one. If you notice, I put my liner in there because last time it stuck pretty bad. I had to scrape it off the bottom, which broke a lot. We'll see if this saves it. It should. So really all I'm going to do is just line all this up in here, overlap it a little bit, and freeze it, and then put it in the freeze dryer. So I'll continue after it's loaded. I think that's actually pretty good. I wouldn't want to make it much deeper than this. They'll stick together a little bit, but they'll come apart too. It's when they're exactly flat on the pan, they don't want to come loose. There's a seed. We don't want that in there. So I think I have some cantaloupe in the freezer now. So once this is frozen, I can run a load. If not, it's persimmons or something else I'm doing. Who knows what I'm doing. But I'll catch you later. All right, I had a user request, subscriber actually, request to show the machine. And here it is cooling before it's time to put in the trays. Now I have an assorted trays here. The top one is cantaloupe. So I'm getting ready to load the cantaloupe into the freeze dryer. And it's now loaded. With the freeze dryer, if you don't have one, you want to make sure you have a seal around this rim. It should actually show like a black line where it's touching that ring. That'll make it seal real good. So I'm going to hit continue. Now it's going to begin its freezing sequence. And it takes it down to about 20 degrees below zero. And then starts its drying sequence, which can take anywhere from 12 to 48 hours. Okay, so it's done. It's an extra drying time right now. I set it up for 12 hours of extra dry time. So all I have to do is cancel that. There it went. And then bleed off the pressure with the valve. Actually, it's not pressure, it's vacuum. But that's okay. And then what I do is I weigh each sheet. Once the vacuum comes off, then the door will open. So the first sheet, I have to zero out my scale here. The first sheet is cantaloupe. And it weighs 774 grams. So I'll log it over here. And then I put it back. Just put them back in. Close the valve, which is going to prompt me to do anyway. Tell it more dry time. Hit continue because I've already changed or closed the valve. Set this up for 4 hours. And I'll come back in 4 hours and weigh it again. And see the difference. So as you can see on another one I did, the first weight, I don't know why that's doing that, but the first weight and then the second weight, and then the check mark means it's done. The third time around, it was done. So on this one, I'm starting here. I'll be putting the next weights in unless they're done. When they're done, I'll pull them. But it hasn't been quite 2 hours. We're going to check it anyway. Tray 1. I know I'm steering you all over the place. I don't know what else to do. 781, so it's done. And then what I do is I hang a fan on the door, blowing back in there. Just a little fan. And then my tube, as it defrosts the moisture that's in there, which isn't a whole lot this time around, but as it defrosts, I have it going down into like a sump pump kind of deal. It's made for HVAC units that are like in your basement to pump the water out. So the water goes into it, and then it pumps through a hole in the wall outside. So here's where it comes through the wall. Then I have it going into a bucket. Keep the bugs from climbing back inside the building. That way I don't really have to empty the bucket inside. I just kick it over out here.